Okay, so another thing I wanted to show about Simulknit was the fact that you really have to have the carriages seated correctly, or this arm on the ribber, the little edge here that aligns in the hole, sometimes will pop out if the carriages are not on the bed properly, and you could damage some needles. So this is the way to make sure that they're aligned. On the 901, there's a lever over here, an orange lever, that you can pull down and lift up to make sure that the carriage is locked in place on the knitter. So I generally tend to slide it over. Now when I put it on, I also try to make sure that I have the ridge in the back lined up okay, but more importantly the front lever has to be, there's a front rail here and on the black. If it's not lined up, you're going to know that it's not lined up because it's not going to sound right for one, and it's not going to be connected in the back. If you can lift it up again, then it's not aligned to your bed. So I pull down the lever, the orange lever, and I slide it on. Now when I slide it on like this, I can feel it's moving fine. I can't lift it up in the front, and I can't lift it up in the back. I can pull up and nothing happens. So that's on properly. Now for the ribber, not sure how you're going to see this. Let's try that. Okay. The ribber is essentially the same way. The only difference with the ribber, when you slide it on, you have to tilt it to make sure there's little pegs down here that won't let it come off, the catch. So the ribber has handles on either side of the carriage right here that you can lift the handles up and then pull the carriage back, and you can see it sliding back and forth. Now you can just clamp it right on there on the bottom, make sure it's in the bottom ridge there. Now of course it's not going to be able to stay that way because it's very loose, but this time if you lift the handles up, you should hear them click on. Did you hear the snap? Here, I'll do it again. Make sure this off, put it back on. Now see, I can't click it, so the bottom is not set right. So I'll reset the bottom, sometimes going all the way to the edge, but you have to tilt it towards you. There's a stopper there. Once it's in the bottom, lift up the handles, and they should click down into place. Once they're, now you can't pull the top, you can't pull the bottom, you can't pull the carriage off at all. So that is aligned properly. Now to set up your ribber arm, you're going to drop the rubber bed all the way down. You're going to align your carriages together like this. Now you'll put your rubber arm on, and when you put it on, you want to make sure that it's seated down in the little holes on either end of the, you'll see them on top. You don't want to push too far back and you don't want it too far front. You just want it seated so those little holes on the carriage are lined up properly. Once they are, I don't know if you can see the holes I'm talking about. I can't see what I'm showing you. Once they're aligned, you don't want to do it too tightly either. Just enough until it's on. And then you align this space bar with the space from the ribber that it's going to go into. Then you just bring up your ribber. And it should snap down into there. So you'll have about, I don't know if you can see, you'll have about that much space. It's going to go all the way down, but it's pretty a good ways in. Okay, so a few more things about Simulknit. I made this watch with a card from the Toyota 901. It's a Toyota card, meaning that the design is the non-punched holes. The background color is the punched holes. So now in this watch, the background color is the light blue, which is also the backing color. So the background color is the color that was in the ribber. Okay, so with this watch from the brother punch card, or I'm not really sure where I got it, but it wasn't a Toyota card. punched holes are the design. The non-punched is the background, meaning that the punched holes, the design, is also the color of the backing. So if I wanted to change colors, say one color for the teddy bears, and maybe this row will be another color, this row another color, I could, but the backing would be all different stripes, or different colors of different stripes. I'd have to change it in the rubber. In order to keep the backing one solid color, I would have to repunch the card the opposite way, as in the Toyota, where the non-punched are the knitter colors. So this way, and the backing would stay all the same. So if I were to punch this the other way around, to where the patterns were non-punched and the backing was punched, it would be like this, whereas the background of the pattern was the one color, and when I change colors, if I wanted to make this row one color and this row another, there would be no stripes on the back. It'd be all the same color. I just wanted to point that out in case you were wondering about designing a blanket or a jacket or something with Simulknit. It has to be, the Toyota cards are fine because the Toyota reads the cards different, the opposite of the brothers and say the studios. So you would want to definitely repunch if you wanted to change colors on this. I'm not sure how clear I was on that. If you don't mind the stripes on the background, when you change colors in the knitter, you would have stripes on the background using the non-Toyota cards. That's fine. You know, if you plan on having stripes on the back, that's cool. But if you don't want stripes on the back, and you still want to be able to change the colors in the knitter for different areas of the pattern, you would use a Toyota card, where the non-punched areas are the pattern instead of the punched areas. Hope that makes more sense.